morning everybody, and how are you? My name's Iris Smith and I'm the owner of a small business called The Flower Patch, where at The Flower Patch we make beautiful artificial flower arrangements like wreaths, swags, things for the home decor, also for the garden, hanging baskets and much more. Right, before I go any further, I've had a request from a lovely sweet lady, Carol, in Texas. Now she is asking if I could show her how to make a bow and attach it to a wreath. So this is going to be just a small little video. I'm going to do another one after for the tutorial, but I purposely wanted to show this for Carol. So I asked and replied to the message if she'd want one doing on a bow maker or by hand, and she asked kindly if I could do one of each. Of course I can, Carol. I'll do anything for all of you. So we're gonna do two. For the first one I'm gonna do by hand is I've just some of these guys are off the roll end what I had left. And some are out of my oddments, so I chose to use a beautiful pink spring floral effect with little bees on, and that's going to be our 2.5 inch. And I always tend to put the bigger one if I'm using small, 1.5 inch or 1 inch ribbons, then I will place them in size order. I do like to do that. Now I've got a cerise pink one as well that I'd like to use also. And then I have, that one's thinner, so we'd use this one next. The mesh one, which is also 1.5 inch, I think it is. Oh no, this one's an inch, sorry, my fault. This is an inch, so that one must be an inch then, yeah. Oops, typical, sorry Carol. So I've had a 2.5 inch, a 1 inch cerise, a 1 inch mesh in pink, and then let me test this one first so I don't say wrong. This is also a 1 inch in polka dot with green polka dots on and lime green down the side of the edging. So that's what we're going to do for the one by hand. Now the one on the bow maker we're going to do in yellow. So I thought polka dot again, let's use the yellow, black and black polka dot one. Let me measure this. Yes, 2.5 inch. So I'll be using that one. And then I've also got the film strip, which is, as you can see, with the little dots all cut out. It makes sense how it looks like a film strip, with yellow on one side and orange on the opposite. And that one, let me measure, 1.5 inch. I don't want to get it wrong. And then I've got another one which has got orange and yellows in it as well, so I thought we'll use our macaroons one as also as our bow maker, on our bow maker. And I'm only using 3 for that one. There's, you don't have to use 3, you can just use one type, as many as you wish, but I chose to just use 3. So I'm going to attach it and show Carol how to attach it to a grapevine wreath. This is a 12 inch grapevine wreath. I don't know why I've put the hook on it, to be quite honest. I do that every time I get a wreath out. Immediately the first thing I do is put a hook on it. So I've placed my hook on it. Anyway, regardless. So there's the wreath ready. So I'm going to bring the camera down so hopefully you can see closer and better. I keep saying I'm going to invest in something where I've got a tabletop camera where it's above my head. I just can't find one what I want, I guess. Right, I'm just going to alter the camera, guys. So Let's just bring it down. In fact, I'm going to move this table I've got here. It literally is in the way. So if I just move that, just bear with me a moment, guys. I don't know why I put it in there. I think it's because it's just a corner. So let's bring this camera stand now in here. Oh, look at that, look how close that is. I want it straight. Right, there we have it. I hope that's close up, guys. So you won't see me, but who cares about that? Oh, before we start, cup of coffee on my mug warmer. Oh, it's red hot. Right, let me clear all my mess on our ribbons. Right, here we go. So first of all, I'm going to use the 2.5 inch ribbon. Now I've pre-cut this again. Well, I've not pre-cut this one. This was on a roll end, so I've gone with the length with the other ribbons of this length on this ribbon, or thereabouts. Right. So first of all, decide on how long you would like your tail ends. Basically, your tail ends is this end bit here, because your tail ends will, wherever you place your bow, that will go. The first tail end, you can decide where you'd like it to be. Well, I like to have the first tail end at the top of my bow, so I never tend to do them large, because otherwise they can just flop over the back, or you won't see them, or they might be just too big for the arrangement. So I'm choosing to go, let's say, about 5 inches for my first tail end. Pinch it together. So from your first tail end, where you're holding it, decide on how big you want your loops. So on your mat, go from where your thumb and finger is and decide how big you want your loops. Now I'm deciding, oh, let's go 10 inch. So where the 10 inch mark is, grab it. And then when you fold it in half, it will be 5 inch loops. So now I know where I want that. I've still got my thumb and finger. Bring the tail end here towards you, and then get your loop, bend it over, bring it underneath your tail end, what you've got here, in between your thumb and finger. And as you can see, your pattern is now upside down. So twist, so your pattern becomes the proper way round. Then measure on your mat, again your 10 inch, grab it or pinch it, and then go into the center again and put it underneath your thumb. That's where you're placing it, not on top, underneath your thumb. And if you want to measure that these are the same size, place your thumb or your 2 fingers in there, and you will see that they meet at the top, so your ribbons or your loops are both the same measurement. So now you can see that this is the pattern is the correct way around, because I've twisted it once I've come here. So now I'm going to do the same. Bring the loop in, and it's going in between my thumb and finger here. So bring it, and you can measure and just slide it underneath like that, and pinch it as you slide it, so it's all the way in. And if you want to measure your loops again with this, now that one's a little bit too small, So I'll just extend it by pulling this. That's better. And now you see again your pattern is upside down. Twist again so your pattern becomes on the top side, and then go back under. You always do your loops under, and even when you come from this side, go under with your loop, and then you bring it again in between your thumb and finger. Measure that they're the same again. You can usually tell when you're doing the loop where to stop, and then I just bring it out like that. So there's your first four loops, and you can make your X, I always say your letter X, across like that. So then you bring your second choice of ribbon in, and you go up here. You can go start here, but I tend to always start where I've done the smallest tail end. Bring that up there, and I'm measuring that tail end basically by eye view with that one. And again, I don't twist to start with, because I'm just going under. And then I'll measure. I can measure if you want to, just to be on the safe side again, measure 10. Bring it under again, in between your thumb and finger. Let me just straighten all this one out. It's a silk one. I find that they can be a bit awkward. And that is going underneath your floral one. Twist. And do the same. Not underneath the floral, sorry, on top of the floral. Get it right. So I've twisted, and now I'm coming back and I'm bringing the loop under. So I'm measuring it alongside that one there, so I can see that is the correct measurement. And I'm doing it just to check. Let's just pull a little bit, that they're the same. Once you've done that, twist again. Even though it's not got a pattern on, it's best to twist because it holds it more in place as well. And then I've got this piece here, the long still, so it's towards myself. As you're looking at it, it'll be away from, you know, the way you're looking at it. But then I go under again, place it in between my thumb and finger, just test, you know, check that it's the same. It is. Twist. So it's now there. So now I do the same again, bring this down underneath my thumb and finger, well, or in between. Just check that it's the same length as that one, which it is, and then just leave that hanging. So now you can manipulate these if you wish. You don't have to. You can leave them all just how they finish as you're going along. I tend to sometimes just fluff them up sometimes, and sometimes I don't. So here's my small polka dot one, and I'm going to start up here again. So I've placed that in between my thumb and finger, like that. And then I've got my first loop. You will find if you're right-handed and you've got the loop, the bow in your left hand, you will be working like I am, to the point where your first tail end is nearer to you. So then you go under again. Always go under with your bow. Place it in between your thumb and finger. Again, you can measure it with that. It's slightly a little bit bigger, a little bit more. There you have it. And because now that is ended up upside down, because we've twisted it, because obviously, sorry, we've gone under, you need to twist it so the pattern is back on top. So your pattern is on top, then go under again with the bow in between your thumb and finger. You don't have to hold it hard because that can give you cramp, you know, and can put too much tension. You will see the bow starting to move up my hand, but it can't go anywhere because, well, my hand finishes there in between thumb and finger. So don't worry about that. So now it's towards me, it's upside down, so I need to twist. So the pattern is back on top, then go under, again measure with that. That's perfect. Just straighten that bit out, like that. And again, your pattern is upside down once you've twisted. So again, before you twisted. So twist again to bring your loop back under itself and gather it or pinch it in between your thumb and finger. And then just leave that tail end hanging there. So that's all of those 3 on at the moment. And what I tend to do with my bows, excuse me, the first bow when I made the X, and it's got a gap here. So this Charisse one I bring in between these two bottom, if I lift that up, these two bottom ones. So I bring one of the Charisse ones in between there, and then the other one here I place in between the gaps on here, and then I've got a gap here, so then I bring one up here in between the gap, those two, and I've got a spare one where then my last one I place in between there. So then you're making an X with your Charisse one, and you do the same then with the polka dot one, but you go by the Charisse one that you've just placed, put in place. So now there's a gap here, here, here and here. So now I will place this one in between the two Charisse here. Now this one in between those two Charisse ones there, and this one in between these two Charisse ones, and then that one in between those. So you're creating like, I don't know, like a flower, I guess you can call it, but you go by each layer. So the daisy one, I placed the Charisse ones in between the two daisy ones, and then the polka dot one, I did it in between the Charisse ones. So now we'll go with the last bow, place that in between, bring that towards yourself, gather it in between your thumb and finger, just check that's the same, and then twist, and then you do the same with this one. Come underneath, bring it under in between your thumb and finger. Just going to measure it with the polka dot one, just pull in a little bit, that's it, and then it's towards you, twist. Every time you do a loop and it comes to the other side of your thumb or finger, twist, and then you bring it under again in between your thumb and finger. Should have used a different one so you can see with this. I'm measuring it, it meets to the top with each other, twist, and then do it one more time. Just measure again. One's a little bit too long, there we go, and then bring that down. So then now you have your mesh in. And again, now you go by the polka dot ones where to place your ribbon. So you've got your 2 polka dot there, so 1 goes there, your 2 here, place 1 here, and then you've got, let me just plug that there, you've got your 2 here, place 1 there, and then your 2 here, so bring 1 down here. And that is how you position. Right, then I usually get a cable tie, because you can see it's all gone down to that end of my hand, to the crease of my thumb and finger. So I get a cable tie, and what I do is I turn my wrist over, like you just think, checking the time, if you're going to miss the train or the coach, and you get your cable tie, lift your forefinger up, hold your cable tie with your forefinger. Then bring the cable tie around the center where your thumb was sitting, and then fasten the cable tie together. Now don't pull too tight. Now I haven't pulled that to its full potential. And then because you can see that cable tie there, I bring that around the back. And if I want to attach it onto a wreath, I get floral wire. This is only, you may see it there, 11 inches long, and it is 22 gauge. And then I place that in the through the center, if I can do it this way for you, of my cable tie. Just push it through, meet the 2 ends together like that, and then I just do 1 turn with it to start with. That's it, just to hold it so it doesn't slip out. So now you've got your bow where it's not tight, so I still place my thumb and finger there to hold it, but I hold my cable tie and my floral wire in my hand as well. So this is where now you fluff up. I like to bring, I've done it where I haven't always put them there. It depends on what I'm making, but usually I like to bring my tail ends to the bottom. That's the reason I have not pulled this cable tie tight, because then it gives you the chance to pull at it and bring it underneath. And when I say the bottom, I mean underneath all of your loops. So I want that to the bottom. I've got the pink one here. You can see it is sat around here. Now I want to bring that down the bottom, you see. So I am bringing it at the bottom so it's not placed in the middle, and it will stay there. Same with this one. That's sat around here, this position. I want to bring that down to that area underneath like that. And same with this one. I think, yeah, it is that one, is it? Yeah, that's on the top with the mesh, so I don't want that there, so I have to bring that right down where I want the long tail ends all down at the bottom. Then I turn it around and I do the same here. I want these small tail ends at the bottom, so I bring the same and do the same procedure, bring them down while the tie wrap or zip tie isn't pulled to its tightest, because you can maneuver them better then, and bring them down to the bottom. So then sometimes I've seen people holding it like that, so the tie wraps don't get mixed up while they're fluffing their bow. So if that's easier for yourselves, then just lightly hold them, otherwise you could crease them. And then just do your X again. Let me get my, do your letter X again with your first but loops on the bottom, and then you've got one there, or should I say that one goes there in between those two floral ones. This pink one here goes in between, you can grab it, these two floral ones. This one here will go in between the bottom, and then this one here will go in the middle of these two floral ones, like that. So then you do now your polka dot ones, where you've got one placed in the middle there of these two pink. So I need to bring this one in between these two pink bows, loops. So that needs to come basically up here, like that. Then I've got this one, I need a polka dot one in between these two. So I bring that into that position. And then I've got this polka dot one, what needs to be in between these two. So basically it's got to be placed where the daisy one is, like that. And then you do the same with this. Now this one has to be placed in the position where the cerise coloured pink ones are. So I want one there, if that makes it easier to understand. And I want one on that side, and I want to place one there, and then the other one there. So that is your bow. I mean, you can fluff it up more, but I'm not fluffing it up too much until I've pulled the cable tie to its full potential. So now I'm happy with the positioning of those loops. That's when I get the cable tie and I pull it to its tightest. Then I'll use my scissors. I will cut the cable tie off. I don't need that. Get my I have to think what it was called then, guys, my wire, floral wire, and then I twist holding the bow, because if you twist just with the back of the floral wire, it has a tendency to snap if you twist too much. So I get my bow and go a couple, 2 or 3 times, and that's enough. That's held it in place. So now all of that is secure. So all you do again, because it's a lot of fluffing up when you've got bows. I quite like it, if I'm being quite honest. So then you just hold, and you just now fluff up to the full potential of your beautiful bows. Now they are all in place. And again, the pink in between the floral. You just get your hands in and do that. So the pink in between the floral ones. And then your polka dot in between the two plain pink ones. Basically we're positioning where the daisy ones are. And then that, like that. And then your mesh positioning in between the polka dot ones. So then your bow is like that. So if you've not cut your tail ends into a dovetail, this is where you can do them by folding them over. And cutting from the folded side to the outer side. I think I've done all mine. Yeah, but I want to cut this one shorter anyway. So I fold it over, cut from the folded side down at an angle, like that. So they are all positioned. So then I just fluff up or straighten my tail ends give them a bit of a curve by rubbing my hand, thumb and finger down, and going under with them so they curl under, like that. So then you've got that effect. So that is your bow made by hand. So attaching it to a wreath, excuse me, as you can see, there's my hook. I've got my two, they're like tail ends really of the wire, floral wire, and I part them and decide where I'd like my bow to be sitting. So if we say here, for example, then you place, if I show you, your one of your wire, pieces of wire, through one in the center. This is going to be a marker to show you where I place, and then I don't want it in the same place because it won't fasten properly, it'll be secure. So I go further up, and I may go in front on a different piece, so it's not exactly following the same line of the grapevine, if you can see that. So when they come out at the back, they're coming out in two different areas. But I'm just showing it you with my cable ties, just because usually with the green floral wire you can't see. So I thought I'll show you how I position them, or how I put them through, so that I don't wrap them, the floral wire around like that. I don't do that at all because I'm trying to avoid showing my mechanics. So I get a piece, if I wanted to place it here, I would put a piece of my floral wire through that area, and then because that's on there, I would bring another piece of my floral wire slightly forward or further down, through a different area, so it'd come there. So when I tie them at the back, they will be tied around a piece of wood in the center there to hold them together. If that makes sense, guys, I thought I'd show it you with the cable ties because you'll see it better. So I'm going through one piece of grapevine with here, with that piece of floral wire, and I'm going in a different position with this piece. Just keep looking till you can get it through. You just keep pushing it in a different area where you can see a gap or a little hole through your grapevine. See, I can't see one there. It can be very tough. See, there we go. So it's come out in different places on the back. So I've pulled it, and I want my longer, let's get this right, tail ends at the bottom, and my shorter ones at the top, as you can see here. So they will go like that. So then once I've done that, I will turn it over, get my floral wire, and I will twist like that. So it's nice and tight. Let me get my clippers. And I will cut. As you can see, there's some left over here. As you can see that there. So I will cut down to about 1 inch where I've been twisting it, and then that little bit that you see left there, I turn over and place it back inside the wreath, because at the end of the day you don't want any sharp pieces, and if you can't push it in, use your pliers or your cutters to push it back in inside the wreath so it doesn't scrape on anybody's door. So then you can turn it back over. Now you've got your wreath attached, and fluff your bow back up. And just keep fluffing until you're happy. And if you feel that one's not going in the where you want it to sit correctly, just tug it like that and it will go where you want. So that is your bow. I tend to like it quite rounded. So to make it round, you know, really quite rounded, the more flat, I just tend to press the top parts down so they become more of a round shape and make it look really fuller. So that is your first bow attached on to your wreath by hand. So I hope that one helps, sweetheart. So now we're going to do it by bow maker. Oh, let me just have a drink. Oh, that's red hot. So first of all, I want to use my polka dot, with it being the widest at the back. I don't know what that is. And I'm going to dovetail. So again, you fold it. It already is dovetailed, but I'm going to show you again. Fold it over in half, and the bit that's folded here, get your scissors, go down at an angle and cut. Then you get that beautiful, beautiful shape. So again, with this one, decide on how long you want your tail ends. So again, I may go around 6 inch. So I'm going to place that in there. So I'm placing it in the center of these two prongs that I've got. Now I got this off of Amazon. In English money, I think it was just around £6, which may be around $9 in America. So that's all it costs. It comes with 3 prongs like this one. This was my very first one. I tried to spray paint it, but the spray paint hasn't lasted on it. And I've placed the 3 prongs in here so I can put, if I show you, when I'm working, because I didn't have one before, my ribbons on, so I can just pull away without my ribbons, spools keep going on the floor or getting in the way. They'll all be here where I'd like them. I don't know what made me didn't think of that idea before. It was only just recently as well, about a couple of weeks ago, something like that, 2-3 weeks ago, that I thought of it and ordered another one. So now I've decided I've gone for a 6 inch tail end, and again I've placed it. Now some people just do that and place it like that. I sometimes like to fold it in half, depending on how I'm working. Fold it in half and then do that. I think sometimes because I feel that I can get a nice pleat in the center here for when I'm making my bows. So I want to do 5 inch loop again. So I take this up to well, before I go up there, sorry, I forgot to remind you, twist. So again, your pattern is upside down. So keep that there. I want to do the 5-inch loops, which my 5 inches here. So where the 5 is, I turn my bow over like that and measure the end to the 5-inch and go down like that. So that is 5-inch. I'll flatten that out just to show you. There's the 5, as you can see, because it's numbered, mine only 1 to 6, but I don't usually do bigger than 6-inch bows anyway, so it's perfect for me. So once I brought this over through the center again, I twist, so my pattern again is upside down. So then I go to the 5-inch mark again, bend my ribbon back over, going through the center here. But again, I like to sometimes, I don't do it all the time, bend it over. It makes it sometimes easier to go in and pull it down to the bottom. Look at my 5-inch to make sure it's spot on, and it is, and there you have it. So then again, on this side, my pattern is on the correct side. It needs to be upside down. Twist. And then you don't have to now measure with your number on your board. You can measure with this bow now. It's the exact measurement. So then I just get it back over. Go to the end of this bow here to make sure it's correct, which it is. And if you want to double check it, if you're a perfectionist like me, put your hands in again, and if they meet at the top, you know they're correct. So that is that. So again, your pattern is now, what's that, on your, facing upwards. It needs to be upside down. Twist. So there is it upside down, and I'm only doing 4 loops. So again, bring it through the center of your 2 dowels or prongs, whichever you may call them. Measure it with the bow underneath. It's how I want it. Now I'm only doing 4 bows, so when you decide on how many loops you want to do, then that's fine. Well, again, I'm only doing 4, so at the end I don't twist because it's the correct way. I just let it, bring it down here and let it hang. Then I get my other one, and I'm going to dovetail this. And then now with this tail end, instead of going on that side, I am going to face it to this side. So instead of going that way in on my left as you're looking at it, I'm going on my right. And I'm going to place, or should I say, no, let me think. I'm trying to think of the way you're looking at it. That is my right. Instead of doing it on my right, I'm going to take it through diagonally to the left side as you are looking at it, guys. I'm going to do it around the similar measurement of what that tail end is as well. So again, this is now the correct way up, because I'm choosing that the orange is going to be the bottom of this ribbon. Then I twist, so the orange is the bottom, so that is upside down. So then I do the same procedure. I'm only keeping them at 5-inch, so I'm going to measure the loop with this loop here, so I don't have to move them out of the way. And I'm going to show you this without moving your ribbon like I did in my hand. And then the ribbon now is on the right side, the correct way up, twist it upside down again. On the bow maker it must always be twisted upside down. And then measure again on this with that one. That's correct. Twist. And again I'm doing 4 loops. Measuring with that one there. Again, if you want to be a bit of a perfectionist, again like I am, pull together like that with your thumb and fingers, if I show you this way, to measure that they're the same. If they meet at the top, you know that you've got the same length loop. So then that's that one. And the yellow is on the top, so I need it underneath, upside down, so I twist. And for my final bow, or loop should I say, I keep calling it a bow, final loop, I place that one on there, measure with that, and once you've done your final loop, you do not have to twist, because that's your tail end, because your ribbon will be on the correct, facing the correct way up. So then just bring it down here, let it hang, and get your other ribbons and do the same with those. So I'm going to dovetail the end of these, and I'm going to put this one looking on your right side. Again, just measuring it with that one, like that. And then my pattern of my macaroons is on the top. I need them to be underneath, so I twist. And again, I make that loop, measure it with the yellow one I've just done, that they're the same length, and then my pattern is back up on the top. So we need the pattern always upside down as well. So twist. You need it upside down because then when you bring your bow back, it will be on the correct side. That's why you twist. Like that. And again, it's on the correct side facing me, so I need it back upside down, so I twist again. So then I bring it over again, because I just want 4 loops again. You don't have to do 4 loops, you can just do it with 3 loops. Like that. And then twist, so my pattern's upside down. Measure it with that loop underneath it, like that. And now I've done my 4 loops, I don't want, you don't twist, let it hang. So there you go. So that is all of your loops done. And again, I've not done what I did with my handheld one and move them around. I wanted to show you how you can do it without moving them around as well, but you know, before you finish. So now you can move them around if you like. Bring that one there, that one here, so you're making the cross sign or a letter X. Bring that one there and that one there, so you've made the letter X with your macaroons. So now the yellow one, you need to be bringing 1 down the bottom, place them above your tail ends, 1 down the bottom, 1 in between the macaroons here, one in between these macaroons, and then 1 in between there. needs to go to the top, like that. And then your polka dot, one down the bottom. Again, we're making the letter X, like that. Just always think of the letter X, and then you'll know that you need how you need to place them. And that's on every row of every ribbon needs to be the letter X. Right, now I get my cable tie, and I just slightly part them like that, where I can see that the middle is. Get my thumb and finger, hold it right at the bottom and just slide slightly up and put my finger underneath so they don't fall out. Bring them off like that. And then you get your cable tie, again the same thing, like you're checking the time. If you're going to miss your train, place that and hold it with your forefinger there. Bring the cable tie underneath, place it through, just slightly pull on it again, not tight. Get your floral wire, the same procedure, place it through, like that. Now again, like I say, I'm not pulling tight because I want to arrange my bow while they're still slightly loose. So I want the smaller tail ends at the top, so I can bring that one down. That one's at the top, as you can see, so I need to slide it down to the bottom like that, and do the same on here. I want these all at the bottom, the longer ones. Like that. So you've got your long tail ends here. So again, fluff your bows up like the letter X. I usually start from the bottom, it's easier, then you can work up that one and then place that in between the two polka dot ones here. That one goes down there. And then do the same with these. And then once you're happy, pull your cable tie to the tightest it can go. If you struggle with it, get some flat-headed pliers to help you pull. And then cut your cable tie off, and you're left again with your floral wire. Get your bow in your hand and twist the bow, not the wire. Obviously your hand will look like that's twisting, but it's not. You are twisting 2 or 3 times with your bow. So now that's tight, everything's in place. Fluff up again. There's a lot of fluffing, and again, like I say, if there's bits of what you think aren't going anywhere, just go like that to get them sat in the place you'd like them to sit. Like those two have gone back together, so I want them apart. So then I get my orange ones here. They need to be in the center of the 2 polka dot loops on each one. So I've got that one where I can now price that down like that. Just grab my wire. Like that, and then you can just curve that over. Now, as you've noticed, I've got long tail ends left, and I've purposely done it where there's long tail ends. So, first of all, decide on how long you want them and dovetail the bottoms if that's what you'd like to have on the bottom. If not, just do it at a slight angle. I like dovetails, I think it adds to it. Or you could just go like that and have it like that, but I like to see dovetails. I have done it where it's just diagonally before as well. So now we've got that bow done. The reason I put that one there is because I'm going to place this one here so you can see. And we're going to attach it the same way we attached our pink bow. So just part your floral wire, put one, and you're going through the center of your wreath, not around it. Just look for basically an O. What's the date, is it? Sometimes it's just hard to find one. Oops, oh, I've let it go. Right, there's one. And I want these tail ends hanging. See that hole? It's trying to direct the floral pin through it, or floral wire. There we go, I think. Feel it. Yeah, there we go. And again, just twist it a few times. Like I say, I tend to twist it about 1 inch. Cut that off, and then I bend it back in to the grapevine wreath. So again, it doesn't catch on anybody's door or wall or wherever they may be placing it. Oops, and scratches it like that. So now I've got that again, then you would be fluffing up again, because you can't help yourselves, guys, you really can't. So now I've got some long tail ends. You can either leave those and just have them hanging like that and have long tail ends and place your floral around it, or like I sometimes like to do, is what we class as a waterfall effect, which basically you gather all your long tail ends in the order that you started, and I started with the polka dot, then the film strip, then the macaroons. Place them on top of each other. Decide where you'd like to have a loop think, oh, well, how big would I want the loop? Would I want to place my hand underneath and do that? And think, shall I have that sort of a loop? That would look quite nice. And then just have those as your tail ends. If that's what you want to do, then gather or pinch where you'd want. And then I tend to get another cable tie. Again, I can pinch hard here, pinch hard. I don't pull hard because I want to attach this also to my wreath. So then I will place another floral wire through it. And I will just twist that, pull my cable tie tight, cut the cable tie off, and again you've got your floral wire to attach. So how I decide and how big I want, I don't just go, there we go. I put my hand under it, or my wrist, and then just lift up my arm. So we're going to place that around here. So then you do the same like you do with your bow. Go through the center of your wreath. There's one piece. Grab it through the other side. And in a different area as well. And pull that through. Turn it over. Twist. Again, always twist because it keeps the floral wire together and secure. And then turn it over the wire and push it back into the wreath. So now you have what we call a waterfall effect. You've got your tail ends and you've got your other loops. You can spread them like that. So you've got bigger loops and you can see each one. So you've got that effect. You curl those so they look nice and tidy. Or you could even just get one of your ribbons, curl it over like this. And once you've done that, grab the centerpiece of it and just pull out, so you've got that effect like a little ringlet. And you can do that, or and this as well, any wired. You grab the centerpiece. Oh, wrong side. And have a little ringlet. Obviously it'd be better than that. I'm just showing you as a rough effect, as you know, and as a quick example. And then fluff your bow again. Just probably say, and then you have your waterfall effect. Now you don't have to do that. You can just let your tail ends hang, but cut them to the length that you require. They don't have to be that long. You could have them short like the ones at the top and just have those hanging there. But I'm just showing you something different to add to, you know, something fancy to add to your bow. So that is how you can do it. So doesn't that look wonderful like that with the little waterfall effect? It gives it that extra, and if you like you can bring that down, unclip it and bring it further down and attach it down here. It doesn't have to be, as long as you've got a loop, you know, by bringing your arm up as far as you'd like it to be, everything's fine. So, and again, that is how you attach your beautiful ribbons onto your wreath. So let me just place up the camera. I hope you could see all of that. There we go. So Carol, I hope that was a bit, gave you, was a bit informative for you and gave you some ideas and a bit of a help for you, my sweetheart. Because that's what I like to do. I like to do requests for people and help them out and show them how to do things. So I always say to people, if you have health issues with your hands, arthritis, osteoarthritis and other health issues, it's best to get a bow maker. You haven't got to get paid great expense. Like I say, in the UK this cost me £6. So, and you can get, and it was on Amazon, I think, well, just under £6, but I round it off. And that was on Amazon UK, and I'm sure they'll be on Amazon USA as well. So it may be around $9, something like that. I don't know if that's cheap, I'm not sure. But yes, for health issues, I say it's a good thing to invest in. It doesn't have to be the one I've got, it can be any, as long as it's easier on yourself, that's all that counts. So I hope that again that helped, Carol. If you need any more help along how to attach things or anything like that, again, anybody, please just send me a comment and I will surely answer your messages within well, as soon as possible, really, because I try to do that. I try to make sure it may be not straight away because I may be working. It's usually when I get in the house and I settle down, that's when I go through my messages. So so bear with me if you haven't heard a reply immediately. So guys, again, I hope you enjoyed that little bit of help and advice on how to attach a bow. So I shall be making another video soon. I'm trying to think what I can do. I can't make my mind up whether to do the pink bunny wreath or anything like that and use, I'm just not sure. I keep looking. I've got lots of ideas in my head, but I can't make my mind up which one I want to do. I may do the bunny one, who knows. So anyway guys, have a fabulous day and I'll see you in a bit on the next video. All the best. Bye bye.